Hey everyone, how you doing today? We are inside the world of real estate today, and we have a treat for you. We do have Jillian Webb, and she is from Chicago. We call it Chicagoland, and then she's also in Wisconsin. So I can't wait to hear all about her, how she runs her business, and the areas that she's in. So fire away, Jillian.
Thank you so much, Mary Ellen. I appreciate it. Yes. Hi, Jillian Webb from Chicagoland, specifically the suburbs. And I serve the Chicagoland suburban market as well as the southeastern Wisconsin market in the Lake Geneva, Lake Como area.
Nice. So I can't wait to dig into that. So tell us a little bit about your background, schooling, growing up, and what made you go into real estate.
Sure. So I was born and raised in the suburbs. I've been a Lake County resident my entire life.
Nice.
Yes, my husband as well. So we are, born here, raised here, work here, play here, everything. And growing up, I actually had a neighbor who was a realtor, and it was very intriguing to me to watch her do her thing. um, so then, fast forward, when I would travel, I would pick up the real estate magazines that had all the pictures of the houses, and I was
Sure.
always so fascinated by that. So eventually, I bought my first house when I was 19
Nice.
because I was convinced I would never rent. So
I love that. So you're building wealth at 19. That's awesome. There you go.
yeah, so that's kind of my unique story as far as starting early. And it really helps me, educate young first time home buyers
Yeah.
about building home equity, and it really positioned me, even though I didn't go right into real estate at that point because you actually had to be 21 to be licensed in Illinois at that time.
Mhm.
So I went into a career in hospitality,
Oh,
and I
that's a
had
great career. That is a great
it,
career for realtors. Yes, because you learn a lot in hospitality.
absolutely. And I had a blast. I learned so much. And it really helped shape my client satisfaction. And, I always wanted to help people. So that's, that really just kind of fit the bill for me. Like I was doing what I wanted, was helping people and providing, you know, value and just, training people and always meeting new people from around the world who were traveling. And I had I would call it the privilege of working in that field for almost 15 years.
Wow.
Um, and then I started to get interested again in real estate, and I decided it was time to really jump in and made the transition.
Fantastic. So what did you do in hospitality? Who did you work for?
So I actually worked for an extended stay type of hotel,
Nice.
and I started off as and I should say I worked for a Marriott
Yes.
luxury
Okay.
resort that's here locally actually, and it was a great experience, but it took a long time to move up there, and being that I was very ambitious, I wasn't patient to stay and wait to do that. So I actually was, found an opportunity with a place closer with this company, and very much got on the fast track. So I started as a general manager. And after a few years, I was promoted to the district manager position. And then I was um, also in a regional position. So the the height of before I left, I was overseeing 9 hotels in the Chicagoland market. And
Wow, that's fabulous. Like, yeah, who wants this person who first of all lived, works, plays since she was born in the area, knows everything about the area, and then has that hospitality, surprise and delight, customer service. This is the girl you need definitely in the area. So about your family. So what does your husband do? Married, children,
Yeah,
animals?
I'm married to my husband. He and I have been together for 25 years.
Nice.
And yeah, we have an amazing daughter, 9-year-old daughter. She is a cheer girl. She's into
Oh, goodness.
cheerleading.
Yeah.
Never thought I'd be a cheer mom, but here I am.
Here you are cheering. So that's another added bonus is that you understand how demanding all these sports are and these activities for the kids. So when people do move to the area, you can kind of from experience kind of guide them in the right direction. So I love that. That's
Yeah.
fantastic. Okay. So tell us about your area. Like we know where Chicago is. Where is your area? Is it south, northwest, and then tell us a little bit about Wisconsin.
Sure. So I say Chicagoland because that's easy to, obviously when you think
Sure.
Chicago, you think, okay. Um, I'm actually focused on the north and northwest suburbs and the North
Okay.
Shore.
Okay.
So
Got it.
so basically anywhere from the Evanston, Skokie, Glenview area north all the way into Libertyville, Gurnee, and Gurnee is where you'll find Six Flags Great America, Great Wolf
Uh-huh.
Lodge, then close to the Great Lakes Naval Base, and all the way up to Wisconsin border.
Fantastic.
Um,
So how different are the licenses between the two different states? Are they
oh,
different?
that is a great question. They are very different. Um, So I became licensed in Illinois in 2012,
Okay.
and in Illinois you have to get your broker's license. So you're not just an agent or a
Okay.
realtor. You get your broker's license. So we had quite an extensive education, and then a 90. It was basically 90 hours of education, and then you get your license and after you pass the exam, and it's an attorney state in Illinois, which
Yes.
means that all of our clients are typically represented by an attorney, and we partner with that attorney to help facilitate the transaction.
Yes.
Very different in Wisconsin. um, Wisconsin has what they call reciprocity. So they, with Illinois, which allowed me to fast track my license in Wisconsin a bit. I still had to take some education, a little bit of a reduced education, but I had passed the exam just as I
Mhm.
would had I not been, given the reciprocity. But Wisconsin is non-attorney state. So
Great.
the agent, the broker, the realtor, whatever you want to refer to us as, we do all of that. So coordinating title, negotiating all of the home inspection issues, working with the title company to get a clear title and to schedule closing. So those were all a bit new for me.
Right, and then learning both different things, but they're so close, close to each other. So, but it's just like you go over the border and it's a totally different world. So that's really good because the area you're in, you could be in like both states and commute, depending on when they come. So somebody might want to be in Illinois but end up in Wisconsin just because they might like it better in Wisconsin or vice versa. So that's great that you're able to guide your clients with that customer service, with your background, and with lots of information and education because you're so familiar with the area. I love that. So tell us what type of homes you sell, like, and kind of give us a guidance, like in Chicagoland, we'll just call it Chicagoland in Wisconsin for purposes of our talking, like maybe like a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, how much square footage, and approximately what's the range of how much that would cost?
Sure. So in the majority of the northern suburbs, you're looking at a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, single family home, which is very common but
Mhm.
type of home. You're looking in the vicinity of starting at 350,000, going up to all the way up to 800,000, depending on which particular town that you're in.
Yes, of
Mhm.
course.
Yeah, and we have a wide variety of housing options, and it's a very diverse. You can go from one town to another, and you will find everybody. The one thing that is common in this area, and you will not be disappointed, is how warm and friendly people are and
Nice.
welcoming in all the towns and neighborhoods in this area. It's just that Midwest hospitality, you really feel
Right.
it. um, so I would say we also have some affordable condos
Mhm.
and townhomes.
Okay.
Some areas you can get a condo or a townhome for about 150,000, and that's going to
Wow.
be, yeah,
Yeah.
that's going to be like a two-bedroom, one and a half bath, but it's a nice for either a young couple or single person, or even if somebody's coming in and they're going to live here for their work, if they're doing relocation, but they're
Right.
not really doing the full move with their family. They're traveling back and forth, so
Which I'm sure happens a lot. I mean, I'm so surprised because so many people that I've encountered, their family's one place, they commute every week somewhere else, and they have like a little condo because they want to keep their family where they're at. So I definitely can see that too in Chicago area too. So that's interesting. Okay. So tell us a little bit about what draws people to your area. Like, why are people relocating to your area?
so much of it is work and family driven. I mean, we have wonderful, wonderful neighborhoods, excellent, highly rated schools. And then we have some huge pharmaceutical companies. We have AbbVie, we have Baxter, we have CDW. We just have a lot of companies that draw people in and relocate to this area. And a lot of times we also see people will grow up in this area and they will move away to go to college and perhaps, let's use an example, like move to Boston because they got their first job out of
Right. Yeah.
college. And then they start to, build a family, get married, and they want to be back in the area they grew up in. So we get a lot of people coming back after they've left.
Well, that's a lot of places too, which I'm seeing. So that just shows that you have such warm hospitality where you are, that people actually, kids love to go like Boston, New York, or whatever. And then when they come back, that just is so interesting that they do with their families, or also, are we getting a lot of maybe grandparents, like because of the relocation? Like I've noticed in Atlanta that the grandparents follow the relocation. So sometimes you're selling them two houses because first they get settled here in Atlanta, and then the grandparents follow because they want to be around the grandkids. So does that happen in your area as well?
It does, 100%. I mean, I can't tell you the number of times where we are giving referrals to the South in Georgia and Florida because grandparents moved down there to after retirement and maybe didn't have grandchildren or
And
yet.
now they have grandkids, right?
Exactly, and they feel that pull, they need to be close to them, so then here they come, whether this was where they were originally at or not, but if the kids and the grandkids are here, we see a lot of that moving to be close to them, and I love that because it just shows how family oriented this area really is.
Okay. Yeah.
And mhm,
Yeah, I love that, and we're seeing that a lot more often. I think in the last 5 years that we're seeing generations are coming to the same area. So wherever they're relocated, the grandparents are following, and like you said, maybe the empty nester kids are coming back too, right? So
mhm.
that's that's always really interesting. So let's talk about, are there any challenges that people have when they move to the area? Like, what's their biggest challenge? Say they're moving from New York or California or Boston. What are their biggest challenges when they move?
Honestly, it really does depend on where they're moving from. And that the reason I say that is because right now our market is very hot. It's a seller's market, and
Mhm.
that is not the case throughout a lot of the country.
Sure.
So yeah, right now, people coming in are very surprised when they learn that they are competing against multiple offers, and that they, may be going well above the list price on a home in order to
Right.
win the offer. So that right now is one of the biggest challenges we're seeing.
Sure. And that could be a big challenge because people are thinking, oh, well, I'm going to move to this nice suburban area and I'm going to save money from where I moved from. And then they're actually having to spend more money because of the way the market is, because it's so desirable. That's great. So let's talk about weather and climates and you know, what seasons you have and how cold does it get, how hot does it get, and just kind of the seasons of your area.
Yeah. So we get all four seasons, sometimes in one day, but
I love that. So remember, sometimes in one day you will get all four seasons. I love that.
uh, but typically, it truly is wonderful to be here. If you can appreciate all four seasons, there's something to do. We've got, ski hills just north in Wisconsin that you can go, January, February, if we, have cold enough temperatures, you can go
Mhm.
skiing. And then in the spring, we've got the forest preserves that you can start to get out and do hiking. They've got all kinds of hiking trails in the forest preserves. In the summer, again, still hiking and everything, but there's so many summer festivals and concerts. And we've got the chain of lakes for boating, and great
Mhm.
restaurants. And then, we've got a beautiful fall. We don't get all the colors of the Northeast, but our fall tends to be very mild. So we
Mhm.
will, we'll literally, let's say January, the average high might be 20, and by March you're talking the average high is in the 40s. June, July, and August, we're pretty much, 75 to 85 most days, but sometimes we get into the 90s. Today we might get almost close to 90, and yesterday we went above 90, which is, we get a few of those all the time. But yeah, if you're looking to experience all four seasons, this really is a wonderful place to be because people will have snowmobiles and they'll have wave runners. They'll have their skis and they've got their jogging shoes. So you really get the best of all four seasons here.
I love that. And so how far are you from like if you want to fly in to your area, how far are you from which airport in Chicago? I know there's multiple. So
Great question. So Chicago has two major airports, and the closest one to us is O'Hare, which most people know
yes.
O'Hare because it is
Mhm.
a major hub. And where I'm at in Lake County, I'm 30 minutes away from the airport, and
Oh
that's
wow.
about the same you would be from downtown Chicago. So to give you
Wow.
the proximity, um, it takes me 40 minutes to get downtown. And it takes me 30 minutes to get to O'Hare. So O'Hare is such an easy airport to fly in and out of. It's huge, but it's also very well organized.
Yeah, you're talking to someone from Atlanta, so you know the Atlanta airport's the biggest and busiest one and crazy. So when I go
Right.
to O'Hare, it's no big deal.
No big deal,
It's
right?
big, it's beautiful, but it's like, okay, I'm used to big airports. It doesn't bother me. It's when you go to a little airport and there's like ooh, there's nothing here. We're just so used to the bigger airports and stuff. And I love that you can go, like, you live in the suburbs, you can go into the city, you can do all those activities city-wise, but yet you can come home and be in the suburbs. And I want to hear a little bit more about your lakes that you cover in Wisconsin and
Yeah,
just about the lifestyle there and who's moving there and who's living there.
that's a great question. So Lake Geneva is a very popular area. It's a wonderful summer destination. And you have a lot of people coming from Chicago buying summer homes to enjoy the what I would call a quaint downtown with lots of fun activities, lots of shops, candle making and restaurants and music venues. They've got the beach. You can do boat rentals. So that's a lot of the draw for people to
Mhm.
come to the Lake Geneva area. But you'll also see, executives coming from some of the larger corporations that they literally, they can, a few of them have helicopter and
Yes.
small planes
Yeah.
that they can land. And so there's, as you can imagine, there's some beautiful, luxurious, multi-million dollar homes that are very just dramatic and lovely. So we
Mhm.
see it's quite a diverse summer home. Um, I would say options for everyone because
That is amazing. Like, because like you said, it's not only because sometimes like when you go to like Florida, you go to the beach and stuff, it's like everything's so expensive, right? And so big or whatever is very expensive. But if you can find affordable yet a quaint little lake house, I mean, who doesn't want that? I mean, as a second home, that's great that you can be able to be in the area and not spend the luxury prices to get something that works for your family, right?
it really is great because you can get a condo near the water, in the low 200,000s. You can get a small vacation home in the low 300s all the way up to the millions. So there really
And
is
you're
something
so
for
close
everyone.
to the airport. So if you live, say you live in Florida or whatever, you can have this nice little lake house because it's so hot in Florida in the summer. You can fly up for the summer and just use it during the summer months. And it's really not that much to maintain it because it's not that expensive. So it's very
Exactly.
affordable, which I think is amazing. So, which gets me into my next question about investors. Do you deal with investors and what do you see is a good investment in your area?
I do deal with investors, and quite honestly, our area is heavy for investors because um, the rent and the demand for rentals here, it really provides a really good return on investment. The ROI is attractive to a lot of investors. Um,
Nice.
because it was so focused on building the single family feeling outside of the city, a lot of suburbs you will find had a lack of apartments. And so a lot of the smaller single family homes investors have purchased and turned them into rental properties because that opportunity, it really solved two problems. I mean, you've got an investor and you want to, you're looking to,
Right.
you know, for a great investment. And you've got renters who, they're not ready to buy sometimes the first year or two, or they've got, a situation that prevents them from buying. Um, and the rent prices, I will say, on average here are well beyond that of the typical rent prices around the country. So
I love
if
that.
you're running like a 3 bedroom, 1 bathroom, what we call it a ranch.
Right.
It's not the kind of ranch. It's just the style of the home. It's a
Yes, of
small
course.
post-war era, really
Yes.
just starter home. that can be anywhere from 1,800 a month to 2,800 a month.
And what
And
would
that's
the cost be on that price on that house about?
and that's something that someone would have bought it for, depending, I would say right now, they would have bought it for somewhere in the range to two to $300,000.
Wow, that's amazing. Like, I'm an investor myself, and
Mhm.
I always look, what about taxes though? Do the investors, like, I know in certain states, if you're an investor, they kind of double your taxes. So I'm just curious, how are the, like, if you're an investor there in, Wisconsin or Chicago, are you just paying what everybody else pretty much pays on taxes on the house?
Yeah, you're just paying what you're paying your property taxes. I mean, and if you are, an LLC or an S corp, your business, you're paying 1.5%
Okay.
per year taxes to the state of Illinois, and nothing in Wisconsin. You wouldn't be paying any, and 1.5% to me. I mean, I'm an investor as well, and I
Yes.
pay that and my investment properties, and I don't think it's you know um, too over the top. But being in Illinois,
No, it's
you
actually really good because a lot of states, they just jack it up for investors, and that's why they don't go into investing as much, because the taxes are much higher. So that's great. So what I get from you is, because of your background in hospitality, you have that surprise and delight, great customer experience, excuse me, not, I don't say service, I say experience. You also know everything about the area, and you know the two different areas. And not only that, you work with investors, you work with second home people because of the lake, and you also work with people that are relocating. So it seems like you've got it all covered in the two different areas that we have. So traffic, a little bit about traffic. I mean, we know Chicago is a major city, but I think that you do have a lot of uh, public transportation and things like that. Do people, are they surprised about the traffic?
some people are surprised. I think people coming from bigger cities are especially surprised because they think that they've seen it all already. But for the most part, aside from being when you're just getting into the downtown area, there'll just be a lot of congestion, especially when there's events going on. But there's several major highways that come in and out and go northwest, northeast, rather, east and west and north and south. And then for public transportation, we have the Metra, we've got the L, which is, the red line, the blue line. I
Yep.
guess they're hopefully going to probably start changing the names from red line and blue line, but
Right.
purple line, but they haven't come up with anything for that yet. But there's also, buses, taxis, Ubers,
Yeah.
there's
You can get
water
around.
taxis.
It's not terrible. And
No,
and
getting
I'm
around is
originally from New York, so I'm used to, I love the public transportation that you can grab on the subway and get from one end to the other and stuff. And I actually worked on Wall Street, so I would commute from Long Island. So I was always on trains and subways and stuff. So I really enjoy that kind of lifestyle. So people can live in the suburbs, they can drive to work, or they can take public transportation, which I think is a great option, because in Atlanta, it's not really an option. I really can tell you that that's why we have so much traffic, because everybody gets in their car. They don't use public transportation like they should, and we don't have enough public transportation that is like Chicago or New York or Boston. So anyway, so that's interesting there. Okay,
yeah.
so what do you like to do outside of real estate? Outside of real estate, besides being a cheer mom?
uh, I've got several hobbies. I mean, personally, I love to travel. Um,
Okay.
but I don't travel as much as I will. I have lofty goals of traveling one day, but I try and stay local, simply for the fact that I really am client focused and I want to be available for, my clients all the time,
Sure.
and then, be a mom and fulfill all my obligations to my
Right.
family.
Of
So
course.
we do like to do a lot of things locally. One of my favorite things to do is to go to Independence Grove. It's a local forest preserve and beach area. They've got a really cool restaurant and bar area there. And we just walk and do the trails. But we are avid boaters. So I've had a boat probably for 20 years that we take out
Nice.
on the chain of lakes and the Box River.
Nice.
Um, so we like to get out there, sometimes go tubing, and you can go
All that
water
fun stuff.
skiing, all the
Yes.
fun stuff. Yep.
That's exciting. So yeah, talking about travel. So I love to ask this question because I feel like it's good for our viewers to kind of get to know you. What has been like a place that you visited that you really love, or something on your bucket list? Because you said you do have a long list. So I'm just curious to see where you've been that you love and maybe where you want to be. Go.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. We really love Mexico. I like the Cabo area.
Mhm.
That's a favorite of mine, and Puerto Vallarta. Um, it's very easy to get there from Chicago. We can
Yes.
hop on a plane and be there in less than 4 hours. So the proximity makes it convenient, but
Yes, and attractive.
beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, and I mean, Mexico it's such a beautiful country, especially the Puerto Vallarta and Cabo area both have that best of both worlds, I call it, where you get the
Mhm.
like the mountain and the ocean together.
Yeah,
So
no, no, that's great. That's great. What's on your list of somewhere you wanna go in the future?
I would say a few of the places I really want to go. I would love to go to Italy.
Mhm.
Just very interested in the culture there. And I would also really like to get to Turks and Caicos. And
It's a
I
good place. It's Turks and Caicos is nice. My daughter actually did, a summer 3-week, marine biology class there when she was in college,
oh
and she's a diver, and she dove
oh
every single day, a master's in
oh
diving. It was just beautiful. She said it was incredible. So that's definitely a beautiful place to go to, Turks and Caicos. Italy, it's one of my favorite places to go to, and there's so much of Italy to see. So it's like you can go there so many times and not be in the same area. So that's great. Anywhere
yeah.
else?
Gosh, there's a lot of places. Probably one of the other places that would be on my top of my list is, and this is funny, people, I like New Zealand. There's some
Yes. It's beautiful.
beautiful, just waterfalls and tropical and just all the things that we don't have a lot of here. That I think that it just looks like you would be amazing to experience.
Yes, that's great. That's great. All right. So one of my last questions is tell us about, I know we have many stories about our clients, but tell me about one of your stories that was most rewarding to you in real estate and why.
So you're right. I have a lot of stories and I have a lot of luck. I've been blessed. I'm very grateful that I've been able to help so many families and
Right.
people, hundreds of them. I would say to date, the most rewarding was it was a first time home buyer.
Mhm.
And, he was in a situation where he really needed to be out of that situation, and we were able to look fine. He didn't think he was going to be able to afford anything. He just
Right.
and I started working with him, talking with him, got him pre-approved, and just going through the pre-approval process and him finding out that he could actually afford to buy a single family home. He was so excited. He's like, I didn't think I could do it by myself.
I love
Um,
that.
so then, we start looking, and we did. We spent probably, I'd say we spent almost 2 months looking, and put a few offers in on places that were not meant to be because I always
That's what I
say,
always say, not meant to be if it doesn't work out, right? Yeah.
yeah, because ultimately where you will, you will be in the place that you're supposed to be. And it doesn't always happen the first time. And like you said, it's not meant to be. He ended up um placing an offer on a house that is it was perfect for him. And I just knew it. And he was like, I'm not gonna get it. I don't think I'm gonna get it. I was able to negotiate a great deal for him and get a home warranty included and everything to give him peace of mind. And he was so appreciative and just is one of those things where he's like, "What can I do for you? What can I do for you?" And I'm like,
Don't you love when
"Just see."
clients are like trying to
Yeah.
buy you presents and you're like, no, 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 it's good," because they're so thankful and they're so maybe they've had experiences where in their head people are saying, oh no, you can't buy or you can't do this or you can't do that. So it just shows all of your backgrounds, all of your knowledge, all of your hospitality, all of your client experience has really just brought you to where you're at, that your clients are raving fans. I mean, that's really what it all boils down to. Um, and I just see that from just talking with you, and I want our viewers to see that this is the type of person that I surround myself with because you do business like I do. And that's why I really appreciate you talking with us today. But I do have just one more question, then we'll be done.
Okay.
Is there anything that we didn't talk about that you want to tell our viewers?
Um, you know, I would like to just I would like to say that you know, when you are relocating, when you're thinking of making a move in the Chicagoland, suburbs or southeast Wisconsin, I would be more than happy. I would welcome the opportunity to have a conversation. I know, you know, it's a big move. It's always hard relocating. It's always hard to, um, you know, sometimes even to start having that conversation. But as a local expert, as a resource, as someone who is native to the area, I love just having conversations and trying to help guide you in the right direction. While we may or may not end up working together, I just like building the relationship and being able to provide information and guidance and support. Um, and that being said, I would say if you're on the fence about moving to this area, please come visit and
Mm.
make sure you reach out to me because I would be happy to show you around.
And
It's
rent
just
one of those on this. I could just envision, and this is like what I want to envision when I'm talking to you is like I envision this cute little house on the lake. I can go be in a boat, go jet skiing, go, ski, whatever, be having fun with my family. And like, that's what I want people to envision. Like, this is where you are according to where Chicago is. And then the North Shore, where you sell investments and second homes and regular homes to people. Like, I
yes.
just envision myself there. So I really, really appreciate our conversation because it made me, I didn't know about where you were in Wisconsin. I didn't know. I mean, I know Chicago, everybody knows Chicago and the suburbs, but no one knew about that beautiful area that you are there in Lake Geneva. So I just really am so thankful that we had this time to talk. And if anybody needs someone, this is your girl. You need to interview her and talk with her. And she comes from contribution. And same thing, I think we all are, is that if we're not the right fit, we'll find you the right fit of someone who can handle your area. Because you might end up saying, well, I need to be 2 hours, whatever, north or whatever, but you're not going to cover that area. But yet you're going to find an amazing agent like yourself to help that person, because we're here to help. We're not here to have a conversation. And if it doesn't work out, we're here to guide you in that right direction. So thank
Yes.
you so much for talking with us today. And like I said, this is the girl you need to talk to, have a conversation with. And thank you so much for being on our video.
Mary Ellen, Thank you
Yes.
so much for having me. I really, truly appreciate it. And this has been wonderful. And thank you again.
Thank you.